Listen to this.
Moving on to some adjacent Xbox-esque news, but we had this really big thing play out over the weekend and going into the weekday about Game Pass, but also how that relates to PS Plus. So basically, this initially opened with the Arcane Studios founder talking about how they prefer PS Plus over Game Pass.
Hold on. Now, I have no idea as to what Mystic's knowledge is on the situation. I got no issues with Mystic because he's actually a fighting game guy from back in the day. I'm just trying to present something that I think is important, which is how information spreads. And when you take a deeper dive into the context, you're going to see something that may surprise you at the end of the day. All right? So I'll let him talk for a few more seconds and I'll show you what I'm trying to show you here.
That was one catalyst to the entire thing, really. But over on Twitter, we did have Rafael Colantonio say, "Why is nobody talking about the elephant in the room? Cough, cough, Game Pass." So this was in light of the mass layoffs at Microsoft, which Rafael said they think it's an unsustainable model that's been damaging the industry. And then Michael Doust from Larian chimed in saying that this has been a concern in his network. It's the most vocal one, and it's the economic reasons people they know have not shifted to its business model.
Okay, both of them came out with their sanctimony, only for me to discover and remember, actually, not just discover, that Rafael Colantonio actually put his game, Weird West, on Amazon Prime's gaming, giving it away for free. Do you hear what I said? That game, I now own the digital license of the game because I have a subscription for buying vitamins on a, freaking recurring basis. I know I reduce it to vitamins, but there are other things you buy on Amazon. But you know what I mean, right? I literally have a subscription that enables me free shipping and all that. But if Amazon were to go ahead, or if anybody were to talk about the layoffs that, big tech was doing, and say Amazon was doing, layoffs and all that stuff, right? Nobody's going to basically go ahead and correlate that it's because they're spending money on games and giving those games away. Right? Because God forbid that we ever look at context in this situation. Now, again, like I said, I just happened to see Mystic's, video on this. I was watching, I was on YouTube and I saw a GameStars video and I saw Mystic on the thumbnail. I said, what is Mystic doing? And so I clicked on it. I was like, yeah, I like this guy's content. He talked about some of history of gaming and stuff. I watched, I think, a video or two of his. But even he that, is just focusing on the gaming and talks about PlayStation and what PlayStation is bringing in terms of their, games on their subscription and stuff. Even he now has been, exposed to this news as to what this developer is doing. But I don't think he probably, is aware of the broader context that's here, which would be that Rafael Colantonio put his game on Amazon Prime Gaming for free. And yours truly, I just happened to have that game. And that's when I looked and said, yo, what's going on here? Everybody is on Amazon, Amazon's case. So everyone's on Xbox's case because of Game Pass, but nobody's on Amazon's case because they're giving out free games. I kid you not. In fact, I just watched another video by Iceberg Tech. Some of you know who Iceberg Tech is. Iceberg Tech is the guy that does the videos where he, hold on, you know what? Let me just show you guys. Iceberg Tech. He's the guy that does the videos about, GPUs and, correlation between different GPUs. He just did a video that he titled PC Gaming When You're Broke. And one of the options that he puts out here is Amazon Prime Gaming. Let me show you. Right, he talks about Game Pass. He talks about Humble Bundle, but he talks about Amazon and Luna. But before then, he points out that Amazon will literally be giving you the games, and their licenses for free. And even he said, even though I'm not really too much, in favor of these subscription services, he points out what it is, and he's playing all these games on like a 50 to $80 pound PC. He's in the UK. So for Rafael Colantonio and for the guy at Larian to come out with that narrative in light of those layoffs is apparently all sanctimony and a poor way to envision things, because Rafael Colantonio, you put your game on Amazon to give away to their subscribers for free. And then Amazon did layoffs across all of its, or I guess across its own business. And none of you came out and correlated your game being given to Amazon for free as potentially this cause of the industry getting ruined. And you know what the AI overview is saying here about Amazon and its own, workforce restructuring in 2025? It wants to reduce managerial roles and streamlining operations, including potential layoffs of up to 14,000 managerial positions and some reductions in other areas like devices and services division, which Luna would be part of it. The company is also investing in an automation and AI, which is expected to lead to further job displacement in some areas. Possible sources: Amazon employee subreddit, The Street. Amazon gives employees a harsh ultimatum amid layoffs fears. Business Insiders. Employees were already freaked out about AI. This is how you know you're in clown world whenever you hear Xbox news. And again, like I said, I was just watching a random video, right? Just looking at what's being said there. And you can see developers talking about all of this stuff and how very loud it got broadcasted on Twitter. And it seemed like everything, and the genesis of this so-called Game Pass conversation as a developer was giving his game away for free. Ladies and gentlemen, again, let noise not get in the way of the facts and the context.
Then Michael, in the same thread, said they much prefer Sony's lifecycle management strategy. Eventually, this snowballed into this huge revelation from Christopher Dring, formerly of GamesIndustry.biz.
All right, forget Christopher Dring, because that one, he already came out to basically be trying to pull people's legs. Very AFK Cromwell, who's from Baldur's Gate 3's developer, who took his own developer company, took early access money from gamers for years before their game came out. By the way, let's not even talk about him. I don't know where he came from with this conversation. Bro was winning and decided to hold this big fat L. And then he said, regarding calculation of sales, weren't seeing that. Then he said the economics never made sense to me. It made sense, but at the same time, I do recognize that for smaller teams with new or riskier IPs, it helped the risk. Much prefer Sony's lifecycle management strategy. And he says, yeah, the only way Game Pass can coexist without hurting everyone is for the back catalog. So this man who gave his game away for free is over here talking about the sustainability of Game Pass and how it doesn't hurt anybody while he took Amazon's money or something. The reason I even knew it was Amazon that gave the game away, it may have been Epic Games, but I have the Epic Games version, is because I looked it up, Weird West free giveaway. And that's how I was able to track it over here. Prime Gaming, is there any deal.com, June 2024, Weird West Definitive Edition, free. Right? That's how I found out. Amazon is giving away 15 games, June 2024. Yahoo News. Let me see if I can find it. Kotaku. Amazon's giving 15 free games to Prime members ahead of its Prime Day 2024. One of the games on here, let's see. Is this where they showed Weird West as one of the games? Am I seeing wrong or am I seeing right? There it is. Besides the Prime Day giveaways, Prime members can also pick up the Lullaby of Life, Star Wars Battlefront 2 Classic, Weird West Definitive Edition, which is the edition that I do have here because I got it from Amazon Prime Gaming. Right? Genesis Noir, Everdream Valley, Myth-Force, Blast Brigades versus the Evil Legion of... See, I was telling people online, I said, guys, I told y'all, these developers, instead of them just basically going ahead to make, a big noise about their games and how they love the game and how gamers can and start adding new features on their game, like what's their name is doing. What's the name of that game that came out? Was it Hello Games that made the game? No Man's Sky. You see how No Man's Sky has become super popular because the devs just don't stop making content for their games? That's how you actually get your game to be one of the most pivotal games of any generation, because that game there's going to be a No Man's Sky for the next console that comes out. You know what I mean? Sean Murray done looked and said, I'm going to only be a No Man's Sky developer. Instead of bro to be a Weird West developer, bro's complaining about Game Pass and all of that.
huge revelation from Christopher Dring, formerly of GamesIndustry.com.
Yeah, this is, again, like I said, this is a wash. Always pay attention to the broader context. Don't let anybody just come and give you the surface level. And even those of us that cover gaming news, if I didn't see this game in my library when I was clicking around, this thing would have flown under the radar, and I haven't seen anybody else cover it. You know what I mean? Like, I was literally just looking through my, my Epic Games folder, like, okay. And I stumbled upon it. I was like, isn't it the guy that was talking the other day? Or maybe his publisher made the deal. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace out.